This week on The Aviators, ever wanted to fly a jet fighter? One lucky pilot gets that chance with a dream flight in a T-33. Sarah looks at aviation on a smaller scale, but these little guys still pack a punch. And Raylene sees T6 flying at a whole new level with the Aeroshell Aerobatic Team. This is a T6 Texan. With over 17,000 produced, it was perhaps the most influential trainer aircraft of the Second World War. Pilots would go directly from this aircraft to frontline piston fighters like the P-51. But the age of the propeller-driven fighter and trainer would soon come to an end. The age of the jet-powered fighters would soon require a likewise jet-powered trainer, and that's where the T-33 came in. The T-33 first flew in 1948 and was the Navy and Air Force's primary jet trainer throughout the next decade. It was gradually phased out by the United States in the early 1960s, but to this day the T-33 is still used by some countries. This is a CT-133, a Canadian licensed and built version of the T-33. It's got a top speed of 570 miles per hour, nearly 3/4 the speed of sound, and can cruise at over 470 miles per hour. Pilots of these aircraft were already proficient with piston-driven trainers and came to the T-133 to learn to fly turbojets and to learn advanced maneuvers. Today, one of these 15 lucky individuals will get to replicate that experience with a dream flight in a T-33. These students are participating in a T-33 ground school as part of the Canadian Aviation Expo. One of them will have their name drawn out of a hat and have a chance to go up in the T-33 and experience turbojet flight firsthand. Who are these potential T-33 pilots? First up is Josh Pegg, an avionics technician and private pilot with just over 100 hours.
Well, just like most people, ever since I was little, or most pilots anyway, ever since I was little, I always wanted to fly jets and in the military and stuff like that. And about a little bit through high school, I had to get glasses, as you can see, and that kind of ruined that dream, as the Air Force requires perfect vision in order to fly. So I went another way to stay in the field, and this kind of came up, and here's my chance to live a dream. So.
Next are friends Eric and Tony, commercially licensed pilots who met at flight school.
Yeah, we've been flying together for 5 years. Started flying together after we both got our private licenses. So, just to build up time, we'd go on different trips just around the area, that kind of thing. We came out here because we found out that there was this opportunity to learn about the T-33 and something different. And so I wanted to try it out. I've never flown a jet before, so
everybody here has been always wanted to learn to fly a jet. So it's something a little different than what we fly every day. Yeah, so it's very interesting.
Joining them is Piper pilot Nis Feener.
I always wanted to come down to the expo, and every year I look up online and realize I missed it. But this year I found out just before, and I actually saw the Warbird, the chance to fly a Warbird, and I jumped right on it. I saw it and I knew I had to do it.
And while there's about 10 more, the last pilot we talked to was David Brown.
Flying that aircraft would be incredible. I think just to, again, be a part of history and see what it was like to fly these things. And again, I've never gone that fast before, so I think that would be really, really cool.
The 3-hour ground school covered a variety of topics to prepare the pilots to be able to take control of the T-33. The lucky winner will be going up with retired Canadian Forces Captain Larry Ricker. As a reserve pilot, Larry has more than 700 hours in the T-Bird, so whoever the lucky winner is will be in good hands.
It's a very maneuverable aircraft. We used this for a combat support aircraft in our squadron for years. We worked with close air support guys in Gagetown where we were doing 400 knots at low altitude, and it's very, very maneuverable. And it's a workhorse. It's been in the Canadian Forces for many, many years. I would say thousands of pilots in Canada have trained and flown with this aircraft over the years.
With the classroom portion out of the way, it's time for one of these pilots to strap themselves into the T-33.
Ken there, Ken. And away we go. Got his own tag name already. Tony Young. Who's Tony? Hey, Tony! Congratulations. Well done. I guess what we need to do now is get up in the air and get that airplane making some noise. That's good. Fantastic, guys. One more round for Tony.
Tony may have come to the ground school with his friend and flying partner Eric, but the T-33 only has 2 seats, so he'll be going up alone. Before he can jump in the airplane for his hour-long flight, Tony has to go through a thorough walk-around and safety briefing. But before long, the jet is started up and heading down the long taxiway. Shortly after takeoff, Larry lets Tony get a feel of the controls. Through the next 40 minutes, Tony gets to try several circuits with the aircraft. And during a pass of the expo itself, he gets to experience the thrill of flying at 300 knots. But as quickly as it started, the flight's over and Tony is back on the ground. It may have been only an hour long, but this was one flight Tony won't soon forget.
It's a trip of a lifetime for sure.
The F-4U Corsair, the frontline fighter for the U.S. Navy during the Second World War. With an 18-cylinder radial engine, the Corsair is capable of speeds of up to 425 miles per hour. The T-33, America's first jet trainer, having trained thousands of Cold War pilots. The Bell 206, one of the world's most popular helicopters used by police all over the world. It may look like there's something off about these aircraft. It may seem strange that they're all together in one location. And the pilots themselves may seem a little stiff. Well, that's because they're all radio-controlled scale replicas. And this is the Joe Nall Memorial Fly-In, the air venture of radio-controlled flying. The event features hundreds of radio-controlled aircraft of all makes and sizes and is held annually at South Carolina's Triple Tree Aerodrome.
It started a long time ago, just a weekend event, and now it starts, typically we start letting people through the gates the Friday before Mother's Day, and it runs all the way through the next Saturday.
Wow, that's a long time. And is it every Mother's Day?
Every Mother's Day.
Once a year.
The event was originally organized by Triple Tree owner Pat Hartness and is named for his friend Joe Nall.
Who is Joe Nall? Has it always been called the Joe Nall?
No, it hasn't. It started out as the Greenville Giant Scale Fly-In, and it was just the Greenville event. And one of Pat's dear friends, Joe Nall, was a tremendous guy. He was a lawyer, a pastor, and he was working with the NTSB and tragically passed away in an airplane accident in South America. And that year, Pat renamed the event in his honor, so it's the Joe Nall Memorial Fly-In.
Now, these aren't just model airplanes that you'd expect to see sitting on someone's desk. These are fully functioning replica aircraft with real control surfaces, real engines, and real speed. There are a lot of differences in materials and types of fuel used due to the smaller size, but for the most part, these manufacturers and owners are committed to making their RC replicas as accurate as possible.
Corsair we have here is extremely accurate. It's an 1 to 4.5 scale replica of an F-4U 1D. It's made from fiberglass composites in negative molds, so it is a repeatable accuracy in the basic of the design. It has a radial engine, 4-stroke radial engine with 5 cylinders, 250 cc, which also makes sure that the sound is very scale. And it, of course, has all the details in the surface.
To further add to the detail, this aircraft even has folding wings, just like the carrier-based F-4Us that dominated the Pacific Theater. And while some of these aircraft use electric engines, like the Corsair, a lot of them use gas-powered engines, and some are even turbine-powered.
Now, David, your airplane, the Beast, it's not your average model airplane, is it?
No, it's not. It's quite a bit different, actually. It's a aerobatic biplane that has been converted into a turbine-powered aerobatic biplane.
So it's an actual real scale-to-size turboprop engine like you would find in any other full-scale airplane.
Runs the same fuel, the same oil, sounds the same, operates the same, everything is the same, just a miniature version.
You can't just jump in, never flown a model airplane before, and just start flying one of those, can you?
You're correct. You know, you need to go through the process and the steps, and actually when you get into the turbine size and airframes, you actually have to go through a process to get a waiver, just kind of everything you go.
Wow. Now, how fast does something like that go? I mean, turboprops, you think fast, you think powerful. Is it the same for a model airplane?
The biplane is, of course, a little slower than a jet, you know, but you're going to get about 110, 120 average out of the biplane.
What, is that miles per hour?
That is miles per hour.
Oh my goodness, that's a rocket. Now, what can you do in something like this? Can you do aerobatics or just straight and level?
Absolutely, it's unlimited what you can do with it. It started as an aerobatic airplane. It's just modified. It's got a cooler sound and, you know, a little more speed, but it's unlimited. Whatever you want to do, it'll do it.
In fact, as far as aerobatics go, these model airplanes are able to do some things that even the most daring airshow pilot wouldn't dream of. With the lightweight airframe and powerful engines, some of these aerobatic replicas have a thrust-to-weight ratio that allows what would be impossible or downright stupid in a full-scale aircraft. So we've seen how accurate some of these replicas can be. We've seen some of the impressive maneuvers these RC pilots are capable of. But how does an experienced full-scale pilot do taking to the controls?
Clint, what is the first thing I need to know about flying a remote control airplane?
Well, you already really have the basics down flying full scale. And it's really simple. You're going to pull up and go up. You're going to turn left. You're going to turn left. You're going to turn right. Turn right.
That's very simple, but you're going to leave me and let me do this on my own?
You bet. It's all right there on that switch. I can let go of that switch and I have the airplane back.
So you'll take control if something happens?
Yeah, we're not going to crash the airplane.
Okay, thank goodness.
Sarah may be a little nervous, but the basic controls are the same. Just that instead of hands and feet, she's using her left and right thumbs.
And go ahead and put your finger on the stick just like that. That's all you need. And pull up. See the elevator go up?
Oh, yeah.
All right, turn right. See the aileron turn right?
Oh, okay.
Turn left. See the aileron turn left? And you're good to go. It's that simple.
This is it, Sarah's first RC flight. After her abbreviated ground school, Sarah is ready to control this miniature flying machine.
Ooh. Beautiful. Now, I'd like to say that landing was done by me. However, it was not. It was done by my instructor here, Clint, but he did an amazing job. I did get to do a loop, but I think this is something that I could get into, Clint.
Yes.
I think this is definitely something that I could get into.
Well, we'd be more than happy to teach you.
That would be wonderful. You know what? What better place to have my first RC flight than at the Joe Knoll event?
It's one thing to simply fly an aircraft. It's another thing to fly an aircraft in formation. But to fly an aircraft in front of thousands of awestruck onlookers while doing formation aerobatics? Well, that takes things to a whole new level. The Aeroshell Aerobatic Team pushes the limits of their 4 AT-6 Texans. The team performs at some of the biggest air shows across North America and have been doing so for more than 20 years.
You want to carry it up there, or you want me to put it in the seat?
During one of their air show appearances, Raylene had a chance to ride back seat with the Aeroshell team. Team leader Steve Gustafson has been one of the driving forces behind the team from the very beginning.
Tell me about how long you've been involved here with the aerobatics and the T6. How did that come to be?
Well, I've been around a long time. My dad actually bought the airplane that I'm flying the year I was born in 1960. I used to sit around in it when I was in kindergarten and make airplane noises. The very one that I'm going to be flying with the team.
So you started this team 27 years ago?
Myself and a friend of mine, Alan Henley, we started it just for fun. I'd been doing solo aerobatics, and I said, you know, my dad used to do some formation aerobatics in the T6, and I'd like to try it. In those days, you didn't have to document practice sessions or anything, so we went out and did it one afternoon and put it in the show the next day.
The next day?
The next day. So, don't get me wrong, it was backed out. It's nothing like we're flying now, but we did loops and rolls and some opposing maneuvers, and the air boss at that particular air show said, well, I've never seen it. That was cool. Come up to Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So we went there and we flew it, and John D. Rockefeller III was in the crowd, and he came up to us and he said, golly, I had never seen that. And I got a little bluegrass festival up in Petit Jean Mountain, Arkansas. Could y'all come? So it snowballed.
Eventually, Aeroshell came on as a sponsor, and the team now finds themselves performing at more than 20 shows a year. One of the reasons for the team's popularity has been the impressive formation maneuvers they fly. And while most of the pilots on the team had previous experience with the T6s, according to Steve, the progression to formation aerobatics came naturally.
I crop dusted for 25 years and also flew the T6 and doing aerobatics. Flying solo aerobatics, there's only so much that you can do without killing yourself. And when you get to a certain level in a T6, it's pretty much there. And formation aerobatics, now that's a whole new ball game. Flying 6 and 8 feet off somebody's wing, that's always challenging, and even after 27 years of doing it, it's still a ball to do because it's so challenging.
The Aeroshell team's performance itself is quite simply awesome. A melange of smoke and horsepower, the team does more than simply fly formation. To kick it off, the 4 T6s perform a loop going from skimming the ground right side up to skimming the clouds upside down in just over 14 seconds, before hurtling back towards the Earth. All while just feet from each other. And they don't just do this sort of thing once. Continuously throughout the performance, the combined 20,000 pounds of sheer mass and brawn gracefully perform loops, rolls, and opposing maneuvers. The T6, of course, was not designed strictly as an aerobatic aircraft. Because of this, it's not able to perform some of the more extreme maneuvers that aircraft like Mike Wiskus's Lucas Oil Pits are capable of. The T6 may have nearly double the horsepower of the Pits, but it's also nearly 5 times the weight, which leads to a very different pilot experience as well.
I've flown Pits and Eagles and extras and flown all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy that a certain amount, but this is kind of like sitting back in your recliner, watching the world go around, graceful, heavy iron aerobatics. And Mark and I like to fly a lot of other Warbirds, Mustangs, and Corsairs and stuff. And I tell you what, North American could not have built a better trainer. Because if you can fly this airplane proficiently, you can get right into those fighters with ease.
Really?
It really is. It's just amazing how they came up with this design. Because the first time I ever flew a Mustang, after I'd flown a T6 so much, I was just right at home. I mean, I was so comfortable.
Raylene is a very experienced pilot. She flies 737s as her day job and has spent thousands of hours in small aircraft. But the T6 and formation aerobatics are new experiences for her. But with some more practice, would Raylene be able to join the team?
Tell me about your team. Can I just come join within 5 years? How does it work?
It's a little difficult to get on board. People ask me that all the time. How can I join the team? They ask me all the time, and I say, well, have you flown a T6? Well, no. Well, you have to fly a T6. You have any air show experience. You need not only air show experience, you need low-level aerobatic experience in a heavier airplane, and then you need formation aerobatic, not just formation. It just, you have to burn a lot of gas, and I try to tell everybody, I mean, nothing so grandiose that somebody can't learn, but it's a lot of dedication, a lot. I got asked this morning that, you know, do y'all keep backup pilots? We don't, because what we're doing is so intense. You just can't you have to stay current, and you practice, you have to fly almost every weekend, which we do. And usually beginning of the year, you know, we're so-so, but towards the end of the year, we really get it down really good. But it just, you can't have somebody just walk up and say, well, I'll fill in for somebody. It's way too intense. Matter of fact, if we don't fly for 4 or 5 months, when we get back in there, you got some barnacles and some rust to get off.
Tell me in one sentence, what's the biggest challenge of flying the T6 as a pilot?
Making sure it goes straight down the runway. These airplanes will ground loop on you. Crosswinds especially. People that fly some of these that just really need good crosswind experience on the ground.
As a tail dragger with the 2 main wheels forward and the small wheel back, Steve says that the T6 is susceptible to what's called a ground loop. Essentially, a ground loop is simply an uncontrolled turn while the aircraft is taxiing, sometimes resulting in the aircraft spinning 360 degrees. Now, this is not to be confused with Aeroshell's celebratory burnout at the end of their show. This is just part of Steve and the team being consummate showmen.
Aerobatic team, how about that, ladies and gentlemen? Beautiful stuff.
The Aeroshell team's regular air show performance is impressive enough, but their piece de resistance is their night air show. For the night show, in addition to their usual blend of smoke, thunderous power, and skilled airmanship, they add flashing lights and a spectacular sunset.
And that's what's unique about our team is there are a lot of T6s out there, but not any that are doing formation aerobatics in T6s.
And I think we can say there's even fewer teams doing formation aerobatics in T6s at night. For more information on today's segments, visit www.theaviators.tv. From our official home at the Whitman Regional Airport in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, we'll see you next time on The Aviators.